Positioning is probably the most abstract skill in CS to master, and it is to no surprise, as positioning is basically we have a plan, so I will go here. So today I will explain the basics fundamentals of positioning and how you should look at it. So what are the basic concepts of positioning? First I will start with crossfires. A cross is, in my opinion, the most useful single fundamental of positioning that you can use to defend a position. For those who don't know, a crossfire is basically two people holding the same angle from two different positions, where if the enemy picks one of those two positions, both of those people can shoot at him. A good example would be two people holding mid on Inferno as a CT. And this tactic enables you to get at least a trade, but usually it results in just a kill for your team if done properly. Second thing I would recommend is to not be holding a static angle, thanks to a famous peeker's advantage, unless you are holding a really advantageous angle, but even those can be negated by a good crosser placement. Which brings us to the next point, which are off angles. Off angles, put simply, are a non-standard angle that you decide to hold just once, max a couple of times a game. And why is that? Well, it's because if you use an off angle, you are usually exposed to everything, which means you are vulnerable to flashes as well, as you are staying out of cover to get this position. So why do we use this? It is because we can catch an enemy off guard, as he doesn't expect an enemy standing in the middle of nowhere, or at least an enemy standing out of cover. I said that you should use this only for a couple of rounds during a game, so how about the rest of the game? You want to be holding the angles, but not just holding them. You want to peek them and go back to cover every couple of moments. And this is because in this age every decent player has a good crosser placement to kill you if you hold a static angle without moving, thanks to a peeker's advantage. So you should just jiggle peek to see if someone is there, or you hard pick every couple of seconds and try to get a kill. Sometimes you can bring this technique to a new level, and what I mean by that is to peek on timing. This is pretty difficult to do as you need to have a good enough game sense and crosser placement to execute it. But basically it means that you stay behind an angle and peek it or shoot through it when the opponent is going through there. And this isn't a 100% play that you can reproduce, but it is something that can secure you an advantage that you can capitalize on. Now, a thing that you can use consistently are early timings on the map. Depending on your spawn and on where you want to go, you can secure yourself a positional advantage when peeking early in the game. And every map has these, like ramp on Mirage, banana on Inferno, B on Anubis, and so on. It is really important to learn these timings so you know how to play around them, so that you can decide if you should play more defensively or if you should try to peek early on. And last but not least is trading, one of the most important weapons in your arsenal. If you are new to this concept, trading is a situation where someone from your team gets killed, and right after that your team kills the opponent that killed your teammate. Trading is an especially important skill, as it makes sure that the enemy doesn't get a man advantage over you. And if there are two teams that are evenly matched in every aspect, trading will most likely be the deciding factor. So of course you want to position yourself in a way that allows you to trade your teammates if they get killed, or a way that allows your teammates to trade you if you get killed. Okay, so these were some basic concepts of positioning. But what is positioning in and of itself? And how should you improve it? Can anybody answer this question? What is the most important thing in CS? Is it kills? Maybe a map control, trading, or something else? It's all of these put in one simple word: impact. Impact is arguably, and in my opinion, the most important thing that exists in CS, as you don't need to rely on a single skill to perform it, but use all of the existing skills in CS to influence the flow of the game. And this goes for everything from map control to mechanics and even communication or economy. So, does this apply to positioning as well? And although the answer is yes, in some regards, I think it will be more beneficial for you to see positioning as an impact multiplier. And why do I say this? It's because if you are trying to perform a play, solo or with a teammate, depending on your position, your impact on the round will differ. An example would be your teammate is holding a flash lineup for car, and you are ready to pick car as soon as he flashes it. Now, if we decide to have us the same scenario in 3 different cases, we can attribute them 3 different impact values depending on possible outcome. For those values, let's go with 1.5, 1 and 0.5 impact rating. In this example, you are staying right behind the wall waiting for a flash, while being close to the angle where you will engage with the enemy. This could lead you to get a frag on a flash enemy while gaining info, additional map control beside gaining or neutralizing a man advantage. This play will get a 1.5 impact rating from us. Second case would be the same play, but you are a little deeper in the banana, so when your teammate flashes the car, you will not pick right away, you will not get a kill. Regardless, you will still get map control and info thanks to the enemy steps when they retreat. We will attribute an impact rating of 1 to this play. Last scenario would be you are being really deep inside the banana and arriving at the car late after the flash. In this case, the enemy could set up a counter flash without you being able to get a stronghold position, which would roughly translate to your death. This play will get a 0.5 impact rating from us because you still got the info. So, as you can see with this little example of ours, in the same situations your position can have a massive impact on the outcome of the play, hence why I call it an impact multiplier. And now the golden question: how do we perfect something as abstract as positioning? Positioning goes for both offense and defense, and you can improve it. Beside playing the game and gaining experience, which will definitely make you better, good thing would be to reflect on your plays during the game, especially after your death. After you die, think about if the cause of your death was your positioning or something else. If it was your position, think about what would be a better position in the scenario you just went through. If it was not a position problem, then you need to think about what kind of skill you need to integrate to your skill book to make that position work. Of course, we talked about impact, so think about which positions will have a direct or indirect impact on the round. By direct I mean kills, trades or assists, and by indirect I mean info gathering and getting hold of a certain part of the map. If you think about this actively, after a while you will start to find yourself in much more impactful positions. Another way to improve your positioning is to watch your demos and apply the logic that we just used to relieve and correct your position in that certain scenario. And you can watch pro players on top of that to start getting a grasp on positioning in offense and in defense in different situations. Next thing would be to observe your enemies. Everybody plays in different ways, so observe how your enemies play and change your positioning based on that. Don't just use the same positions again as everyone. If you observe your enemies, you can notice their habits, how they play, are they more offensive or defensive, and adapt to them, which will skyrocket the success of your plays. So, the most important thing about improving your positioning is to have a goal behind it, because, as we said, position is an impact multiplier, so you need a goal which you can use this multiplier on. After this, it's just about figuring out which positions work the best in which situations. Try to notice which of your plays have a high success rate and which ones don't, and start adapting your playstyle adequately. With this, I will end the video. If it was helpful and you enjoyed it, please leave a like and comment on what should I do next. See ya!